It's me, Miss Ashley, back at Zion Baptist Church to talk to you this morning. We've been talking about our study about the armor of God. And I just want to remind you that good soldiers in God's army are always doing the right thing, okay? And so I hope you're enjoying time with your family and learning new things. But I also hope you're being a really good soldier. And sometimes soldiers have like boring things to do, like chores. Sometimes they have kitchen duty. Sometimes they have to just kind of be peacemakers. So I hope you're doing those things in your family, keeping the peace with your brothers and sisters, helping out with the chores, just being a good soldier and doing the things God wants you to do. All right, we've been talking about the armor of God in Children's Church. We've talked about the breastplate of righteousness and how that breastplate would protect a soldier's heart. And we know that when we do the right thing, it protects our heart. We also talked about the belt of truth, and that the belt of truth holds everything together. And God's truth, the Bible, holds everything in our life together. We also talked last week about the shoes of peace and how those shoes of peace help us to stand firm against the tricks of the devil. And today we're going to talk about a new piece of armor. Now, we know that the Apostle Paul is talking to us in Ephesians 6 about the armor of God. And boy, Paul had seen his share of soldiers. He had been chained to a few of them, and he'd been arrested several times. So he knew exactly what a Roman soldier looked like in all the pieces of his armor. And the piece of armor we're going to talk about today is a shield. Now, a shield is the kind of... they had to be able to use a shield because they used hand-to-hand combat. Those soldiers in those days didn't fire with rifles or grenades or anything. They were fighting with swords, and they were right up in each other's face. So they had to know how to use a shield and move it quickly and effectively. So check out my shield I have today. Man, it's so cool. Oh, look how my shield protected me against that dart. Wow, I know that Christian soldiers, they have shields too. And our shield of faith can protect against the darts of the devil. You gotta edit that out. Yeah. All right. The Apostle Paul tells us in Ephesians 6 that Christians are able to take up the shield of faith to stop the fiery darts of the devil. Okay? Satan will try to shoot darts at you like disobedience and cheating or jealousy or pride. Lots of other things like that. So we've got to take up our shield of faith and be ready to stand strong against Satan's attacks. Okay, well, what is faith? Well, faith is believing in someone and trusting them completely. Okay, believing that they will do what they say they'll do. Well, we can trust God. He will do what he says he'll do. Okay, we can believe in him. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here's our verse for today. Ephesians 6, verse 16. I'm using handy-dandy Bible here. It says in Ephesians 6, verse 16, in addition to all these, that means all the other parts of armor we've talked about. In addition to all of these, hold up the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil. And Satan's going to try to attack you and try to make a good soldier into a not so good soldier. He's going to attack you in every way he can. So we've got to make sure that we hold on to the faith. Okay, that we keep our faith in God, that we continue to believe in God and do or believe the things that he says. And how do we know the things he says? By reading his word. Okay, and when you're reading God's word, if you'll go to Hebrews chapter 11, there's a chapter there, and we call it the Hall of Faith. And it talks about all these Bible heroes that we can read about that took up the shield of faith and believed in what God said. People like Moses. Remember Moses? He led the children of Israel out of Egypt, and he believed that God would do what he said he would do. God said, Moses, head toward the Red Sea, and I'll take care of you. And he told Moses to hold up his staff, and the Red Sea parted. Moses had to believe. He had to have faith that God would do what he said he would do. And then we've got guys like David. Okay, David, when he heard about a big giant called Goliath who was talking ugly about God and wanting to defeat Israel, he went up to King Saul and he said, let me defeat that giant. And King Saul said, David, you're a boy. And David said, I can handle it. I've got the shield of faith. King Saul tried to give him a real shield, and David said, I'm not used to this. This is too heavy. But David did take up the shield of faith. He believed that God would protect him, and God did. Man, God protected David, and David defeated Goliath with just a sling and a stone. Wow. Okay, we can have the faith that these guys had. If we read God's word, we can have lots of encouraging words from people like those guys. And there's a lot more if you'll just read about them. Okay, that chapter gives us lots of examples. Those people trusted God, and so can you. Believe in God's promises and trust him to do what he says. That's having faith, and that's using your shield of faith to protect you against all those attacks that Satan's going to come at you with. Okay? When you do that, just like Timothy, who's also in the Bible, you can fight the good fight of faith. Now, I have a really fun challenge for all of my soldiers in God's army out there. What I want you to do is I want you to see if you can find some things in your house to help you make your own shield of faith. I borrowed one, but I wanted to see what you guys can come up with. Maybe you can use, I don't know, a cookie sheet, or maybe you can use a paper plate. Something fun. You could decorate it, draw a picture on there, put your favorite Bible verse on there, and I'd love to see your shield of faith that you create. And if you'll post it in the comments, we can all see, and our whole church family can enjoy them. So get busy, try to find your shield of faith, and guys, make sure that you are standing firm against Satan, using God's word to help you. And remember, God will do what he says he'll do every time. I can't wait to see your shields of faith. I hope you guys are doing good, and I miss you so much, and I can't wait to see you soon.